I'm live, Joe? Hey, welcome. Let's put some more lights on, Joe. Put a few more lights on so we can see things. Let's talk about stuff.
Make sure to tell them to let us know if the audio is okay and everything.
Oh yes, please. Can you hear me now? If you can hear me now, I would love a yay. If my audio is not adequate, please in the notes if you could just put a get a life. Your audio is horrible. Joe?
It says mic working.
Mic's working. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
What are we talking about today? We're going to do a Q&A, so
Yeah.
go ahead if anybody has questions.
Right, exactly. So if you guys have any questions for me on detailing, have any questions on anything, any goings on at the company, or anything about events or anything at all, ask away. And Joe, who you guys know Joe, Video Joe Triggs, he's the guy who's normally doing this video on Wednesdays. He is the guy now filming me. Now I'm in front of the lights. Joe, I miss you already. I love having you do these videos. It's great to watch you do it. But, well, happy January, happy New Year. And I'm really glad that you guys had a chance to plug in and listen to what we might have to say today. As always, our entire goal is to make sure that we help you achieve outstanding results on your vehicles, in your home, whatever you're detailing, motorcycles, boats, etc. Bottom line, if there's a question, if there's any part of your detailing regimen that is not on point, something that you're missing, something that you just can't achieve perfection on, that's what I like to hear. Love to know how we can improve our system, our products, our process, because your input is how I've always been able to upgrade our process, our system, our product line. It's always based on input that we get from you, the customer. So I'd like to humbly ask that you please fire away questions as you can, anything that's not going great, because I'd love to resolve those questions. When I first started this business, it was at a swap meet. And I started Adams Polishes February, I think it was 5th or 6th, maybe 4th. It was the first Saturday of February in 2000. Someone will probably pull it up real fast and say, it was the 7th, or it was the 5th, or it was the 3rd. Anyway, and we were able to talk to customers, and people would walk up and say, hey, I can't seem to figure this out. I have these faded headlights. These things keep fogging over. They look horrible. These headlights are awful. How do I get them back? How do I make them look great again? And my answer is almost always the same. Where's the car? Where's the car? Bring it up. Pull up right behind my booth. Let's go ahead and address it. Or I have this bird poop stain. Or I have these gnarly water spots on the glass that I can't get off. What am I going to do? And it gave me the ability to really jive with the customer, jive with you to find out what's missing out there. What did you walk into the auto parts store and you look at the wall, sort of the wall of confusion or whatever you call it in the detail section, and not find on the shelf? You know, you found a bottle of wax, you found maybe a microfiber, or before microfiber there was just like, you know, little terry cloth round applicators, and you'd wax them, try to wax it off. And oh, I tried to wax off the scratches and they didn't work out. Well, shocker, right? That's not how you remove scratches. Anyway.
New questions coming in.
New questions? Yes. Anyway, so we started this business, I started this business on responding to needs of customers. So that's what I love to do, is help make sure that we get those answers. So Joe, fire away. What are you getting?
So there's two questions I'm going to get to from FF Dutch and Mark Dressel.
All right.
But Nick K, he says, what are the cars behind you?
Oh, the cars behind me are a couple of cool cars. So here is a Porsche Cayenne Turbo, and that happens to be my wife's car, and we used it yesterday for a video. So it came into our little man cave here, and we cleaned it up and used it in the video that we were shooting, and we wanted to make sure and have it clean for at least a day because it's rainy and crappy here. And the chalk over red interior is a pretty cool combo, and that is what my wife drives every day. That's what she carts the kids around in. It is such a cool car. It makes the greatest sounds.
Newly tinted windows?
Freshly tinted windows, just got done. Yeah, our friends over at Lupo Motors here in Boise did that for us. So yeah, that's a cool car. And then here next to it is a 1989 Porsche Speedster. And the Speedster uses the Porsche turbo body with a stubby little windshield and a top which is barely useful at all because it is so hard to get up and down, and that clamshell that goes over the back, you can kind of see it through the back window, is sort of an interesting thing to get up and down. But yeah, the Porsche Speedster was one of my very first really cool cars that I ever regularly cleaned when I was in high school. So it was brand new. Somebody bought a brand new Speedster in '89. I was a junior in high school. And I used to do every Friday. They lived in the Hunt Club in San Juan Capistrano, and I would go over to their house, and I would detail this guy's beautiful white Speedster. The only difference is he had white centers on his wheels, but he also had the tan interior, and I love that. I got the car cover sitting in there right now, but anyway, just really a cool old car, and I love the turbo fenders. Just a super groovy, big fat fender ride, so I love that. So a few years ago I was able to achieve one, and I'm like, yes, that's awesome. That's like one of those cars you always wish someday, and someday came. We're blessed.
Okay, what's this? I can't really walk around this guy up here, but
That old car there, Joe, that's a 1966 Shelby GT350. So that is considered what they call a carryover car. So between 1965 and 66, Carroll Shelby bought a couple of hundred cars, a couple hundred K-code, which is the high horsepower fastbacks, from Ford Motor Company, because they needed to go through, as they were retooling, they had to go through and stay alive. They wanted to stay in business selling vehicles while the car was being retooled. So they bought these cars. So it's got some 65 and some 66 bits to it. And that car was a very interesting story. It was used as a drug smuggling car. I think it was confiscated in late 70s or early 80s by the United States government. You know, they took off all the stripes on it. They made it look kind of like a normal car, and they were smuggling drugs across the border. It was then restored in '80, and it still wears that same restoration. And it was brought to me by the absolute pinnacle of all things Shelby, Colin Comer, the guy who's a very good friend of mine who writes the books on Carroll Shelby and all Shelby automobiles. And he sourced that car and found it for me, and he's a super, super awesome guy. So thank you again, Colin, if you're ever watching this video, for finding me that cool car. It's a really fun car, and it's actually just gotten a Paxton supercharger installed. So that is really a cool little addition there. So
what's the last one?
Last car is a 1967 911S, and the 67 is the very first year for the 911S, the first year that they did a sport version, which is a little bit quicker, higher horsepower, tighter suspension, a little bit lower, and it is pretty much known that that's my favorite car. I love driving around that little car. It's so light, so quick, and it's just it's old school. It's not pretentious at all. It's just a really cool old car. So that's what we got behind us here today.
All right, so a couple of questions. We have one that says, this is from FF Dutch. Adam, I used graphene coating on my black truck. The hood feeds water like crazy. The sides don't. Did I wipe the coating off too soon when I used it?
So no, and that's really normal. I would imagine that you might live in a place that's had some weather. You might have been driving through possibly some either salt or possibly magnesium chloride or something like that. But if even just a whole bunch of rain, you'll see the hydrophobic sort of activity of your ceramic coating not be as awesome. And sometimes on the sides, you know, it's still, the ceramic coating's still 100% there. However, the reduced water beading can be, you know, you can up that water beading by a couple different things. One, wash it, clay it, and then spray it with some CS3 is one thing. You can do ceramic boost is another thing. Or You can use something even as easy as slick and slide or detail spray. A lot of times will reactivate it. But if you think that you've driven maybe 1,000 miles or a couple of thousand miles during the weather, in other words, you've driven on snow, rain, or nasty weather for a good number of miles, and you feel like the chemicals from the road have been going up along the side of it, you know how easy it is to re-ceramic your vehicle, right? It takes no time at all, and you can ceramic the whole side from the, say, the door handles down. It might take you 7 minutes, per side. If you feel like you want to re-up it, you can do that. But your ceramic coating is actually there. You'll just notice that that surface tension, which makes that water slide off, has been just somehow reduced just a little bit. Usually it's a chemical reaction. Almost always it's going to be something like salt or magnesium chloride.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's see. So it's actually kind of a good question. Says, after applying advanced graphene ceramic coating, how often should you use graphene boost within the car care process?
You know what? Maybe I'd like to put it to a miles and time spent outdoors. So a ceramic coating, they say, oh, here's a 5-year or a 7-year or a 1-year or whatever ceramic coating. The reality to me is that you're going to need to reapply based on how much time your vehicle sees on the roads, how many miles it's going to see, and then how many days is it exposed to the elements. If your car's parked outside day and night, I'd like to reapply a ceramic coating every 6 months. Why? Because I'm constantly being bombarded by elements. If that's the case, and again, now with the ceramic coatings being so easy, why not just do it, re-up your night, outside during the day, you go to work like most of us, well, then you're going to be able to reapply it maybe once a year. Regardless, I would say every 12 to 15,000 miles, you're for sure going to want to reapply your ceramic coating, because miles are going to be a big determinant of how much time your car has been exposed to elements.
This is actually a good question, but it can go into kind of this thing.
Yeah.
If someone, Aaron Hansen says, what's your least favorite and favorite car to detail?
My least favorite. It's funny, I go back in my brain and I think of some of the worst cars I ever did. And oh man, when Hyundai first came out, Hyundai is, they make some decent cars now. When Hyundai first came out, they were the worst, cruddiest cars. I mean, they were literally, I remember when they first came out, there was a silver Hyundai that I washed every week. This lady, I don't know how she had enough money to pay me, because she drove this Hyundai that had to cost $11. But the car, every time I vacuumed it, I'd vacuum like knobs off the stereo, or stuff would fall off as I'm vacuuming it. You bump the mirror, it falls off the windshield. There's always stuff like that. That was probably my least favorite car that I ever detailed. Or I can just say any mom's minivan, right? Even my wife, when we had little kids, you got French fries under the seats and all kinds of mystery stains, and I don't even want to know what happened, but mom cars, or people that have Labradors, tend to have the kind of hair that sort of is barbed. It goes into the carpets and it's really hard to get out. So I'll give it that. Those cars seem to take the most time and the most energy. My favorite car to detail, the easiest and my favorite car to detail, especially if it's my car, I have an E55 AMG Mercedes. It's a 2003. It's this old school car. It's just so understated and so chill. No one knows what it is, but it's silver. And my buddy Greg Rasmussen, he's so great. He's a representative of ours. He sells our products, and he's also a detailer up in Northern California. He did a full detail on this thing and ceramic coated every inch of it. And every time I picked it up at the Bring a Trailer reunion in Monterey this last August, and he delivered it to me. Anyway, every time I wash it, it's such a pleasure, because first of all, silver is the easiest color in the world. Anything silver. Silver is the easiest color to do, with a close second at pearl white. But silver, so easy to wash, so easy to dry. The water beads off it like crazy. And like most of my stuff, I don't drive it too many miles, so it feels like the water's always just jumping off the car. So that's my favorite car to wash, and easiest car to wash. So mom's minivan, not so much. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
This is actually, I think, a good question.
Yep.
This is from Francisco. And he says, is it possible to achieve a perfect paint correction while doing the process outside? Or does the outside elements effect cause small micro scratches due to the dust and other elements in the wind?
Well, Francisco, that's a very good question. So can you do a full detail and get perfect while detailing outside? I will tell you, absolutely it's possible. However, the elements do pose a bit of a struggle, right? If you're doing outside detailing in an area where it's really dusty, you're in the desert, you're in Arizona, it's a dusty day, and you go wipe the car down, and you just give it a quick wipe. You're looking at your white towel, and boom, it's a full dust line across it when you're doing that. Well, then you go ahead and decide, okay, I'm going to polish, and you get it perfect, and you wipe it down again 5, 7, 10 minutes later, and you have that dust on there. That's probably going to be an environment where it's going to be really hard to get a perfect finish because you're going to be constantly getting the wrong kind of abrasives onto the buffing pad or onto the applicator pad when you're applying a ceramic coating. The other thing is temperature. You want to make sure and keep. I love detailing 50 to 80. Those are my favorite temperatures. 40 starts to get cold. 40 starts to get cold. You get down to 30, products will freeze on the car. You'll spray a product on the car and the thing will freeze. So you want to try to keep it north of that, 40 to 80. Then the other thing is, when you consider how much time you have between when you wipe it and when you can pull up dust, if you have 20 minutes and nothing happens, 20 minutes between putting a towel over and nothing's on there, you're probably safe to do a panel at a time because you'll be able to accomplish a panel in 20 minutes. So I break the car down into this hood I want to try to do at one time. And if you can get it done before anything shows up, and always when you're considering that, I love the white towels. The white towels are very telling of how much dust is on there. You can pull it up and instantly see a sort of a dust line across there. So time it. If you can get something done and nothing comes up on the towel in 20 minutes, you're good to go. The other thing is, a lot of times it's even being under an easy up canopy, something like that, just to keep the temperatures down. And if there's trees right above you, stuff dropping out of trees can happen quickly while you're polishing or while you're wiping, and that could cause an unwanted little piece of abrasive to get you scratched up. But it can be done, Francisco. That's a great question. It can be done. You can detail completely outside. Weather dependent. Make sure you're somewhere between the 40 and 80 degrees, and make sure that you just are able to get one panel done before it gets totally dusty again.
In fact, at Barrett-Jackson, our crews are doing the detailing in the open air tents.
See, that's a great point, Joe. So, at Barrett-Jackson, where our crew's now been for a couple weeks, they're going to be there all the way through the end of the month. We're detailing sometimes outside under the outdoor tents, okay? And that's the rule of thumb we use. They'll wipe it. Okay, it's dusty. Okay, time that one, go to the next car, they come back. Okay, 20 minutes. That's dusty. Okay, what are they going to need to do? Well, they're going to get a couple of people on it. Quickly wipe it, compound it, polish it, wipe it, boom, go ahead and ceramic coat it. That's going to get it to perfect, and they'll be able to do it quickly before the dust builds up to a point where there could be damage. We're going to be doing, I think that we have just under 2,000 cars to be accomplished this year at Barrett-Jackson, our crew. We have 31 detailers in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, and they're going to be there through the end of the month. So it's just a really exciting. I can't wait to go down there. I go down there a week from Monday for that wonderful week to go thaw out in a nice, warm place.
You and I will be there.
That's right, Joe.
And I want to jump in with the crew and do some detailing as well. So,
good.
Yeah.
We'll do detailing. We're going to do this live video from there too.
Yeah, demos.
Yeah.
Everything you can think of.
The whole thing. Yeah, it's a great time to be down there.
Also, do you want to quickly talk about if you're in the area, the clinic that's happening?
Oh, great. So if you're coming down to Scottsdale, Arizona, or Phoenix, or anywhere in the valley for the auction week, which runs the 22nd to the 29th, I think, we're going to have on the 28th, I'm almost positive, which is that Saturday, we're going to have one of our largest detail clinics of the year. We always have it on the final Saturday of the auction week. So that's at our Scottsdale store. So if you Google Adams Polishes Scottsdale, it's right off of Shea in the 101 freeway. Shea and the 101. We're right there next to this Golf Galaxy, huge golf store. Anyway, it's a great week. It's a great time. It's one of my best, one of my favorite events because there's just such a huge amount of car maniacs that are all in Scottsdale that week. So we're going to have a nice big detail clinic live there. We'll have sales. We'll have a whole bunch of cool things and, you know, sign stuff if you want it or just hang out. So I love to be there. So that's going to be, I think it goes 9 to noon on that 28th, which I believe is a Saturday, which is the last Saturday of auction week. So that's Barrett-Jackson's that week, the RM auctions that week, Gooding and Company's that week, Bonham's, Russo and Steel. These are all auction houses that are going to be there. Our truck, our trailer, we're set up completely at Barrett-Jackson. So you'll see our rig at Barrett-Jackson and most of our crew there, led by our fabulous Sydney Weaver. She's the boss of all things event, and she'll be out there with her crew in Scottsdale that whole week. So come on out if you can. I'd love to say hello and shake hands.
Once you wipe down a car, and I have a pretty good question here. We have a lot of graphene questions.
Okay.
But I think this is a question probably only you can answer.
Okay.
This is from JD. He says, I started following Adams in 2016. How has Adams Polishes changed since then? Product philosophy, development, lessons learned? That's the question for you.
JD, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Well, for one, we've gotten, we've probably 8 or 10 times in size from 2016 to now. Some crazy, obnoxious growth. So in some ways, in 2016 or 2017, I want to say we bought our chemical manufacturing plant. So when we did that, we were able to have a focus go into our specific product line, advancing all of our each and every category, especially the ceramic line. Really getting into ceramics, the graphene ceramics, all of the surrounding products that you're going to use before, during, and after a ceramic coating.
And that was to bring it to everyday people.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So you end up with a lot more focus on our product line. The other thing is, I took on a business partner in 2016. His name is Derek Johnson. He's just, an amazing guy who really added a tremendous amount of value to the business because while I'm a pretty good detailer, I'm not exactly the best guy with numbers. I'm not exactly the guy to sit down with spreadsheets and really pour through them. I don't like them, honestly. I'm not a friendly math. I'm not the best mathematician. I'm not a great accountant either. But we were able to start bringing in quantities of excellent products from like our polishers, some of our towels that we bring in from South Korea, just the highest quality. We bring a better, a next level of products in. So we've really gotten to be a lot more higher quality chemical, higher quality towel. And I think that some of the things that also have happened, which is unfortunate, but reality, we've gotten bigger to where, we have 18 or 120 employees. And one of the things that I don't like about the fact that we've grown is that I don't know everyone's name anymore. I walk through the warehouse and I don't know everyone. Like I used to know everyone. I used to take everyone out to lunch every day. And then we started bringing in lunch every Friday for everyone as we got bigger. And then now it's so hard because there's so many people. We need to rent like some kind of a giant restaurant or something to have all of our employees together for lunch. So that's the up. The up is the chemical line's gotten better. All the products, the pads, the polishers, everything's just gotten better. We're able to invest in better technology. The downstroke is that, I don't know every employee by name. I wish I miss that, and I still know so many of our customers. People text me and call me all the time, email me and ask questions, and that's awesome that I still have that. But there's the upside and there's the downside. That's a good question. So while I'm doing this right now, I think that one of the questions that Joe, you wanted to talk about was when to use waterless wash, slick and slide, or detail spray, right? That was a kind of a question. And I'll tell you right now that is a great question because I like to wipe down and clean something all the time. I'm constantly wiping down and cleaning something. I'm looking at the very bottom valence of the 66 Shelby, and it's driving me crazy that I've got some bug guts on there from the last time I took it for a long drive out when I picked it up in Wisconsin. and I need to get those bugs off. But getting the bugs off, waterless wash. And the waterless wash is what I use after I drive it in the rain, after I drive it in anything else. Waterless wash with the waterless wash towel makes the friction go way down. So I'll just throw it here on the speedster real fast. But the cool thing I love about the waterless wash and the waterless wash towel, and they have to go together. I never use the waterless wash with a plush towel. It doesn't do the trick. It doesn't get the results I like at all. So, my gosh, I love how the finish is. There's very little gloss to this product, so it finishes very quickly and very easily. So if you're removing dirt, you're removing bugs, you're removing any sort of pitch, anything you feel on there that might have been tree sap, start with waterless wash and the waterless wash towel. The waffle pattern to this towel makes it so that it slides over the finish really easily, which is less friction. And friction is the thing to be avoided, right? Friction is scratching. So removing dirt, start with waterless wash. If you're going to go over it and do a little spruce up with gloss afterwards, when I do the waterless wash, I just spray, rub. I don't even try to finish it perfect. I literally just get the crud off of it.
Getting stuff away from the car.
Getting the dirt off the car. I also take this spray and turn it into a stream when I want to spray the dead bug guts. So I spray down low with this stuff, and this is how I see some bug guts there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the license plate because I got some there. I'll let the waterless wash just simmer on those bug guts, and I'll let those bug guts become sort of fully wet again. And when I do that, when I fully wet down those bug guts again, that makes it so I don't have to scrub it, okay? By getting the bugs totally wet, it's like they just died on there again, right? All those bug guts will come off really easily, especially if you've ceramic coated your car. Makes them even easier to get off. But I'll go ahead and spray the front clip down like this and leave it. Leave it alone. Walk around, do the rest of the car. Then I'll come back and my towels will be a little more damp because I've just gone over the whole car. And then I'll come over here with now my new freshly dampened towel after wiping the whole rest of the car. You do the glass, you do everything else. And when you're done, some bug guts there. Then I'm going to come back down to these bug guts, and they're just going to come off. Oh, nice. They're just going to come off without any scrubbing. So scrubbing and scratching, whatever you can do to reduce that. Waterless wash and the waterless wash towel is a great way to get clean without scrubbing. It's a really effective way of cleaning stuff safely, you know, because trust me, if you're scrubbing and you're rubbing on your car, you're scratching it. You know, you want to avoid that. So hopefully you can get around it by doing this little process right here. All right, Joe, what's the next question there, buddy?
There's one that I'm going to get to Francisco again asked it.
Okay.
Francisco, we're going to get to your question here in a second, but I want to address some of these graphene questions.
Okay.
Anthony has a good one, but if you can give a shout out to SoCal Sandman.
What's up, SoCal Sandman?
Scott. He's
right on.
He's like a super fan. I always see him on our
Cool. Hey,
thing,
Scott.
but he said he just did my whole rig yesterday with graphene detail spray. 2.6 million miles and still shiny.
What? 2.6 million miles? That's my buddy Scott. Scott, is that your burgundy Volvo truck that we know so well? I bet that is. That's got to be. My buddy, he introduced me, Dave introduced me to Scott.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so crazy, yeah. That's cool. So wild, I think he's into RC aircraft and helicopters. So I think that's him. All right.
So I have Anthony here. He said, I've applied the advanced graphene ceramic coating. I feel like now I'm applying or using all the graphene products like graphene detail spray, graphene CS3, graphene shampoo very often. Can you overdo using the graphene products?
You know, it's funny. I've only seen people overuse, like, if you use H2O garden gloss after every wash, your paint can get sticky. You never notice that? It gets a little sticky.
Yes.
That would be something that you can overuse. Otherwise, The graphenes, while it doesn't stack the way you think, like if you apply a graphene ceramic coating to your car and then you want to apply another one, it's not like 1 + 1 = 2. Like 1 + 1 = 1.2 or 1.3. It just gets a small, very small incrementally thicker as far as the coatings go. But as far as all of the other products, like the soaps, the detail sprays, ceramic detail spray, I don't see it. It's something that, like for the tire shine, the tire dressing, the graphene tire dressing, I love that stuff. I use that stuff every time.
There's actually a question here. What's your favorite tire shine?
That's it. Oh, by a long shot. Is it on the right side? I love that stuff. That is absolutely, yeah. The graphene tire dressing, that is definitely without a question. Because it lasts.
Yeah.
It holds up so well. You know, I love that. It holds up so well. You can, and then the next time you wash your car with a pressure washer, you can get all the dirt off of it, like all of it, and it comes up just great. So, I love that.
I mean, if I had to, they can't really hear me, but if I had to say, can't really overuse it, but sometimes it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Because the protection is so significant.
That's
from
a great.
From the graphene, like just doing a standard, you know, nice 2-bucket wash with car shampoo.
Yep.
And using detail spray as a drying aid is more than enough. It's like,
So what Joe's saying, just to make sure that I'm getting the right information in your question answered, the graphene ceramics last a good long time. You won't need to reapply them often. You're going to notice that water, and when you blast your car off with water, it pulls the dirt straight off of it. So you probably won't need to use it as much as you might think you do. It really does. It is the longest lasting protection that technology has given us in car care, in this car care industry. So you probably not need to use it as much. Now, as a guy who really is filling my fridge with your money when you buy a lot of our ceramic stuff, you know, I tell people, use it as much as you can. Twice a day, 3 times a day, it's a great idea, you know. That's a lot, but you won't need to use it as much, but you will notice that it does hold up a lot longer. You'll use less of it and you'll get outstanding results. So it is a great question. I'm gonna hit this tire real fast, which I saw I missed the top of it.
Mark Dressel is very involved with our Facebook community. He's a really great guy.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
And
Thank you.
Stuff very well, but
Yeah.
he had a question on here. I'm trying to find it really quick. Hold on 1 second. So this is kind of a broad question. He has
Yep.
another one I think is really good, but it says,
Yep.
what is the best way to maintain a ceramic coated daily driver that gets crappy due to rain, snow, etc.? That rarely can use a hose due to low temperatures. So like,
Yeah.
you know, this is kind of in the winter washing
Yeah.
category, but
That's
like,
perfect.
Like, I think this is a great question for you, especially right now. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's been raining in Idaho for
Yes.
3 days, and
Yeah.
you know, what do you do to maintain your ceramic coated vehicles in this time of year?
Well, listen, the different kinds of cars that you have are going to give me a different answer, okay? So basically, if you have a super high-end daily driver, a car that you're really worried about, then that's going to be a little bit different than your sort of more average daily driver, beater, you know, your winter beater. Now,
Just assume it's something people really care about.
okay, let's say something we really care about. The number one thing that I use all winter to keep my cars good is the pay and spray. I take the pay and spray, I take my bucket, let's see if I have any buckets here. No buckets? Really, Joe?
Promote our winter washing video here on YouTube if you want.
Ooh, on YouTube, our winter washing video. Look up winter washing. It is an absolute win when it comes to great tips for getting your car perfect all winter. But using the pay and spray, that's the coin op. You go run your credit card or put coins in, and you go ahead and blast your car off. As much as I can, I go through those things, especially right after a snow, you know, and you got all the crud on your car, or after a rain even. But if you have the chemicals on your vehicle from that, blast them off as quickly as possible. We have a bucket with a lid. I will take that bucket, I will fill it up in my house with warm water, okay? Because we have a beautiful, absolutely fabulous garage at home. I have a driveway, right? That driveway turns into pure ice if I try to wash a car on it when it's freezing out, okay? So I can't go out there and wash it or I'll, you know, hurt myself, my wife, my kids. We're not gonna do that. Using the pay and spray, heated ground, always a hot water coming out of it, That's like your no matter what, ready to go hose. That's the way I keep my cars good all winter long. And you can bring a warm bucket of water from your house, put it right there, boom, spray it, wash it, rinse it, and then a lot of times I'll go ahead and H2O garden gloss it if I can, because that's going to give me more protection midwinter to get me through the winter. But H2O garden gloss is something that you can use, you know, just about year round. That stuff is actually pretty decent on the cold temps too. When you do blast your car off with a hot water, it elevates the temperature of your car well above freezing, so that chemicals don't freeze on it. That's a great question. The pay and spray though, find the best one. You're going to go to one coin op and you're going to say, that one stinks. Okay, you're going to go to another one. Oh, that one's too crowded. Let's go to another one. You'll find like the Goldilocks porridge of your perfect pay and spray. You know, one that doesn't take credit cards. I hate those. You know, you got to have $5,000 in quarters. Like, oh, that's such a hassle. So you want to take credit cards. That makes it easier. Then you just keep your, you know, in the back of your car, we have these trunk organizers. Keep towels in it, and then you put your bucket in there, and it holds it up so you can drive there. And you know, or you put the bucket in the back seat and buckle it in so it doesn't tip over. It's a screw-on lid that keeps the water from splashing out.
How about like just also not showing up at busy time?
Oh, absolutely.
Like being respectful.
Oh,
you know,
it's huge, Joe.
You
And
can also call to see if it's okay to take your own stuff. I mean,
that's such a huge thing. I'm going to clean your screen right now. I can see your. I know that I can. See, oh,
so much better.
smudgy. So, yeah, if you use a pay and spray during prime time, you're not going to be able to pull your bucket out and do your stuff. You're going to have a problem. You're going to get a lot of people going, hey, you know, what's going on? What are you doing to that? All those chemicals out there. No, I bring two buckets. I bring one bucket with all the scrub brushes for the wheels and tires, and then I bring another bucket for washing the car. And you are going to get a lot of crap if there's a big line of cars trying to come in right now. So don't do that. Make sure you're respectful. Do it at a good time where it's not too, you know, Saturday mornings, terrible time to do that, you know. But during the week on your lunch hour, might be real easy to get away with that. So, great question.
Let's see. Oh, you had another one you were trying to find. Oh.
Talk about some more.
Actually, a really great question. I think this is a perfect one for you to answer because
Okay.
you own kind of every year of car. Mark.
Every year of car. That's a lot of cars, Joe, but okay.
Every era. Say that.
A lot of errors, yeah.
Mark again says, is ceramic okay for any year of car? Is there a
Yeah.
cutoff year of cars that you should not apply ceramic coating? So I think he's like
No.
assuming like, you know, a original paint
Yeah.
thing, you know, like in
That's
your
a-
opinion, like what
Yeah.
should be-
So ceramic coatings can be removed with polishing, okay? If you have really thin paint on an original paint old car, you want to be minimally polishing and compounding, right? Well, like on this 89 Speedster, every single bit of it is original paint, okay? Now there's some chips, you know, I've got some chips and a bunch of little tiny issues on this thing. I think I've got 19,000 miles in this car, but you know, still, is it ceramic coated? Absolutely. And the reason I ceramic coated it is because I want to be able to wash it and dry it and do a tiny bit of polishing on it, light polishing, white pad, white polish, without reducing the thickness of the factory paint any further. Same thing I do on some of the other old original paint cars. I've got a 1973 1973 Bronco. I got it sitting right here behind you, my first one. The 73 came after that, my orange one after the yellow. That's got all original paint. I went ahead and polished it and ceramic coated it. It is so easy to wash and dry and make great. I mean, it's just a fantastic thing to do. So there's no cutoff here. There's nothing like that. I would say that using it on something like a DeLorean on raw stainless steel is like the one thing that could be a little bit tricky because that doesn't, you know, raw stainless steel is really hard to get perfect with an applicator and to get it exactly flawless to go along the lines. But outside of that, I'd say go for it. I mean, there's some people are really not into the extra gloss. Some purists are like, well, that car is just way too shiny. It's way more shiny than it ever could have been new. Yeah, okay. There's the downstroke. You're going to have more gloss than probably was available in 1973 or 1967 or even 1989 because the technology today with the gloss that you get out of the ceramic coating is greater. It's a greater gloss. So if you're working on a matte finish car and you want to make sure it doesn't get any darker in finish, then avoid the ceramics. To me, once a matte finish car is ceramic coated, it becomes so much easier to maintain and own. So that's a good question, really good question. So I went through and talked quickly about the waterless wash and when to use it. Then the other two quick ones are detail spray versus slick and slide. If I haven't used the slick and slide in a while and I want to add a whole bunch of gloss, I like the slick and slide because the slick and slide is really, really thick. It's really goopy, but it is so high gloss. So out of all the spray and wipes that we have, this is the highest gloss, okay? This stuff really gives tremendous gloss. People might say, well, why aren't you using the, well, you don't have to only use ceramic-based products on a car that's ceramic coated. Once a car is ceramic coated, it's bulletproof. You can use whatever you want. To me, the satisfaction, the wipe, and then, my gosh, like how slick that gets is pretty satisfying. It's really it's unique. Yeah, it's a satisfying thing. So adding high gloss. Now, if I want ease of spray and ease of wipe.
Because in high temperatures,
Yeah.
if that dries on the vehicle,
It's a pain.
streaky.
It's streaky, it's thick, it's goopy. You're adding a lot of gloss. If I want to do something that's a little bit, just the easy button, detail spray all day long. And that's the stuff that you use, after a wash, paint, glass, chrome, you just go ahead and do everything because it's so easy. It's the easiest product that we have for something like that, Joe. It is so nice. And inside of the glass, outside of the glass, paint, all the black trim, all that stuff. It's just so nice. So, all right, Joe. Well, those are the things. Any more great questions, or if you let these people go back to their normally scheduled life?
You actually just answered one of those questions.
Okay.
I have a couple more. Scott Fisher, Mr. Motor Company, says,
What's up, Scott?
detail spray is my cologne.
Give yourself the camera for 1 second, Joe.
Okay.
Give it to you. I'm taking a 2-second break.
How's it going, everyone? Adam needed to use a little quick bathroom break, so what's up, Scott? So I can talk to you. I can answer some questions too if you guys want. What's up, Matt Hudson? Oh man, Scott's being kind right now. So look, Nick K says my car just came through. Jose Vargas, by the way, you have the what pre-wash routine do you use? I'm gonna let Adam answer that because I think it's actually a good thing for him to talk about. But Nick K just had a question come through. My car has both PPF and ceramic coating. What product and type of towel can I use before I get it out of the garage to take to the car show? So Nick, it just kind of depends on how dirty your car is. And the good news is that you put the PPF and the ceramic coating on your car, so it makes it much easier to clean. It's actually going to preserve your PPF for much longer because look, PPF can get those micro scratches and it's really hard to, you can't really polish it out. Kind of the newer technology, it's like self-healing almost.
Totally.
But
look at this car.
Yeah,
This entire thing, every single bit of it, this whole car is PPF'd.
Yep.
And the reason being, this car just gets driven like it's stolen, just really beat up. And as a result, having the PPF on there, the value of the PPF, if you have a relatively nice car, the value of the PPF, for one, when you go to sell your car, you might get 60% of that or more back, just so that someone would love to buy a PPF car, right? They're gonna pay up for it because they know that it's a good amount of money. But two, the ownership is so easy, a ceramic coated PPF car is really easy to maintain. It's a great, it's really just a cool thing to have. So
it's like you're protecting it from rock chips and deep scratches, but also making it easy to maintain.
yeah, it really is. It does make it easy to maintain, and where we live, there's people, we gravel the roads here, it's just, you replace the windshield in one of your cars every winter. It's for sure gonna happen. It's not if, it's when. So that same gravel touching your paintwork can be really bummer. You know, you're getting chips, which is a drag.
Nick's main question was, what product and type of towel can I use before I get it out of the garage to take to the car show? You know,
So let's say your paint's already knocked down right where you want it. You just want to spray it and wipe it down. Are you pulling the car cover off of it? If you're pulling the car cover off of it, now you've got no dust on it. You just want to spray it and wipe it. I mean, car show, to me, I would go ahead and hit it with Slick and Slide, okay? Slick and Slide, because it's the most gloss. You know, it's the most gloss out of a spray and wipe. So the Slick and Slide, I think, is probably what I would use on a car show day. Because again, I'm going to impress. I want to make sure that I show up looking the shiniest car in the row. You know, even Cars and Coffee, I like to show up with the cleanest car there if I can. For one, my name's Adam, and I better show up in a clean car. But two, I really want to make sure that I'm just looking as good as humanly possible when I pull up to a show. So maximum shine, hit it with a Slick and Slide. Now, if you haven't touched your car for a while and you need to add something to it to really to get it to the whole car to pop, let's say you haven't polished or done any ceramic coating or anything for a good while, then Brilliant Glaze. And I'll show you what that stuff is real quick. That's one of my absolute all-time favorite products, the Brilliant Glaze, because going on to paint, glass, or chrome, the Brilliant Glaze, and you see what this stuff looks like, separates, see how it separates white and clear. This is the solvent on top.
Yeah, so solvent, and then what is this?
This is, so those are what you call solids. Solids are made up of any number of things. And the solids in this particular product, along with the solvent, so just the active ingredient liquids, create a finish that when you apply it to either film or glass or plastic or whatever you want, anything you apply this stuff to, it makes it super slick. It makes it super consistent, very even. So if you need to add a pop, if you pull the cover off your car, or you pull the car out of the garage and wipe it down, you look at it, you're like, it's not looking that awesome. It's just really not holding the gloss. See this stuff? You put a little bit like this. Just a little bit goes a real long way. But this adds a tremendous amount of gloss, and what I love about it the most, including on the glass, I love how even and consistent when you remove it, it is. In other words, you won't see any little marks of where you rubbed harder on one spot than another. It's very, very even, very consistent. I just love that. So the gloss is huge. And again, you do put it on everything. Your lenses, your paint, your PPF, you put it on whatever you want. And when it comes time to take it off, gosh, is it a pleasure. This is probably one of the #1 therapies you can have in life. Need a little therapy, a little shine therapy? Apply a coat of Brilliant Glaze. You can do it literally like, 3 times a week if you want. Stuff literally never builds up. It never gets persnickety.
You can see,
Yeah. What are you going to say?
you can kind of see like it's still.
Yeah, a little,
like
yeah, still
wet.
drying over there. Down here, it's all dry.
Yep. It's easier to remove when it's completely.
I mean, look at just the weight of my hand, Joe. Just the weight of my hand just takes it off so nicely. But this is probably one of the most therapy, one of the most therapeutic things you can do as a garage therapy. You're looking for some garage therapy. This is it right here. Shine therapy at its finest. A coat of Brilliant Glaze adds so much gloss to your car. It's so easy. It just takes such little effort. So if I'm going to go to a car show, I'll throw a coat of Brilliant Glaze in the whole car. That'll take off any little smudges. It's going to make it look real consistent, okay? And then it's also just crazy slick, really slick.
We have a video here on YouTube. It's called How to Get Your Car Ready for a Car Show and What Do You Do Once You Get There.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
This product was a big piece of that.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Get this stuff on the car. You get it to the car show. Whatever happened to the car on the way to the car show, this fixes it.
It hits. We did that video, and at the car show, we won best in show.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
But another one, if you do have a lot of dust on your car, you can always break out an air cannon and blast the dust off rather than touching it.
Oh. I'll even go one step further than that. So I have car covers for all the cars. I will blow off the car cover first. Literally blow off the actual cover and then roll the cover up off the car and then blow the car off, okay? And a lot of times what I'll do is, because I'm really out there, is I will blow out the garage at the same time. I'm like, if I'm gonna blow everything out, I'm gonna blow out the garage, then blow off the cover, then pull the cover off, blow off the car again. That will give you the ability to have a true, very little friction when you're wiping your car. It's going to limit the amount of damage that can happen if you go ahead and use air. Using air is a great way to dry your car, to pull the dust off your car, all that, because it's just, again, not touching, no friction, no potential for damage. So that's really a great point there, Joe.
Another thing, just on this kind of same subject with show cars is I like to clean tires, scrub the tires with, fully clean your wheels before you even go to the show.
Oh, for sure.
But you kind of want to minimize the amount of work you do once you get to the show.
Yeah.
So it's like scrub the tires with tire and rubber cleaner and an edgeless utility towel. So then when you pull up,
right,
then you put the tire shine on when you're there because you don't want stuff to stick to it.
Great point. Yeah, clean thoroughly wheels and tires before, and don't dress your tires until you pull into the showgrounds and into the fairground, because that is a really true statement that your brake dust is way more likely to hang on to your tire dressing than it is to hang on to naked tires that you just use tire and rubber on. Nothing's gonna stick to those.
And when you're using the best tire shine, people are gonna say, "Hey, what's that?"
Yeah, exactly. And you're using that to make sure, and say, "Oh, that's Adam's Polishes. That's adamspolishes.com." And that guy Adam, he's a pretty okay guy.
Yeah.
He's very, very good detailer. So there you go. So Joe.
Yes, Nick, single soft towel or double soft towel, borderless gray, any sort of plush towel is really best for what he was just doing. Right
Yeah,
there,
plush towels for removing glaze. Don't use, I get into the rant often, but make sure you don't use a towel from a big box retail store, discount store that have tags hanging off of them. Don't use those towels on your paint or your glass. You'll see the little fibers on your glass, but they can scratch your paint. People call us all the time. "Oh, I just detailed my car and I just used your products and now it's all scratched up." Oh, that's really hard to understand. Did you use a car duster? No, I didn't use a car duster. Did you use one of those yellow towels with a big tag hanging off of it? No, I used a microfiber towel. Oh, great. Where'd you get that microfiber towel? Costco. They're not bad towels. They're disposable towels. It's when you check your oil, use the towel, throw it in the trash can.
There's a place for them.
Yeah.
On your engine.
Oh,
if you're
absolutely. Exhaust tips. They're great for exhaust tips. But
they're a tool in its own right.
Yeah. It's a disposable towel, though. Wash them once and they become sandpaper. They're definitely not going to be used a second time. But yeah, I'd say if you can avoid that kind of thing, you're going to get a lot less scratching. So
I have one last thing. It's actually like a pretty common question we get a lot. And you can end on this one, but Anthony Tinrow, he asks, "I completely muffed applying advanced graphene ceramic coating on my SL550 on the trunk. High marks all over. He says he thinks he pressed the applicator too hard. What's the best method to correct that?"
Okay, so the Brilliant Glaze that I just used, that might be the easiest thing. So the Brilliant Glaze.
Just restate kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
So this is like,
okay.
you find high spots. And by the way,
yeah, this happens all the time.
This is not like it's not like he muffed it. It's just
right.
Sometimes it just happens.
Oh,
it's not,
it totally happens.
And a big difference between maybe someone who applies it a lot versus someone who doesn't apply it a lot is they know how to fix it.
100%.
So this is not like, I don't want him to think that he did anything wrong.
Yeah. Listen, when you first start using ceramic coatings, there's a few things to avoid, okay? I'm going to tell you right now what to avoid on ceramic coatings. One is using the small applicators makes it way harder to get even, okay? Using the small applicators like these.
And granted, we supply those in the...
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, sorry that we sold you this. We should have sold you this. This is the easy button. You use more chemical like this. Professional detailers like these things. I can't stand them. I never use these except I'm doing wheels with like spokes, little tiny areas. I never use these things. This is how you get the product to lay down all even. This little guy, as you turn it, squishes more product out one side or the other because it's hard to hold it dead flat. So using these.
And this is even like, I think a lot of people, their references to this too. You still,
Yes,
even
yes.
if you're applying that, you use that.
Yeah, even if you're using this, the little bottles, use them with a big applicator, especially if you're new to it and you don't, you're not have the technique down of holding this little thing exactly flat. Like you're going like this, you're going to constantly be squishing a little bit of the ceramic, a little more or less every pass when you're moving it. This is going to lay flat on the car no matter what. So using this with the ceramic coatings is way easier, especially if you haven't done it a million times. Okay, so that's one thing. Next thing, if you want to get, if you're going to have high spots, okay? It's just part of life. It's part of ceramic living, especially when you're new at it. If you haven't done it a million times, know that it's so curable. It's so fixable. First,
how about when you wipe the coating off?
Oh,
I think that's
a huge one. Yeah, let me just show it to you right now. Here, should we use the a little bottle and show you how this goes. So this is the advanced graphene, and I'm going to go ahead and just show you real quickly how much I would use on an applicator like this. Okay, and about like that. Yeah. Okay. Again, I don't use the little bottles. I only use the ceramic spray coating. It's so much easier to work with. If I'm ever a first-time detailer, first-time ceramic coating applicator, use this, because all you got to do is just spray it. It just goes right over the finish nicely.
If you are, if you are working on your car a lot,
yeah.
If you do like to touch your car, and car care is a hobby.
Yeah.
Car care is therapy.
Yes.
This is going to be a better
100%
option for you anyways.
Way more therapeutic. Okay, so now here I have the advanced ceramic. I'm going to go ahead and do a big giant area, and I'll purposely leave some that I don't do. Okay, I'm going to come around the outside of this panel, come down on the front, do half a panel at a time as far as the hood, then the rest we'll do full panels, like a full fender, full door, etc. Okay, I can see this is already rainbowing. It's going to set up nice and quickly. Now, here's the fact. The fact is, I got a good rainbow from this side if you can't see it from that side. The fact is, there's no one that's going to get all of it off the first time perfectly. Your first time using a ceramic coating, you're going to mess it up a little bit. But here's a couple tips that are going to give you a way higher chance of perfection. One, you can see now that it rainbowed, and now the rainbow's starting to fade, okay? So that means it's curing. As the rainbow fades and it's almost gone, then I'm going to start removing it. I have a brand new plush towel, and what do I want to do? One, I want to very lightly go over the entire panel once first. The reason being, by me going over the entire panel once first, before I remove it all, is that now I will have almost no high spots because I'm removing the super thick, heavy stuff the first go round, okay? So now I removed the heavy stuff. Now I'm going to take it, flip the towel, and then just buff to perfection. The reason that I do that initial wipe is it buys me time. It gives me more time than slowly go over the panel and get every little tiny bit of ceramic off. Okay, it gives me more time to do that, and the chances of me getting a high spot are almost gone because now there's no more thick product remaining on the car. Now, what else can you do to make sure you don't get those high spots?
I think one thing that I'm noticing is you folded the towel.
Oh yeah, well you have to fold. Listen,
Talk about that tech. Talk about
that's huge. Yeah. If you're holding a towel like this, or you just have a towel like this, and you're touching it like this, you're putting a lot of pressure through one single piece of towel. Okay? That means wherever your fingers are touching, it's going to go ahead and remove some of the ceramic. Now, If I quarter the towel, put it into force, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces of towel touching the car. Now when I push down on this, I'm going to be able to have this towel, the entire quarter, removing very consistently any residue from the ceramic coating, polishes, etc. So this method, leaving your hand flat, don't grab it like this. You know, don't hold it like this. Okay? Hand flat all the way open on the towel is the best way to remove, and also the best way to get very consistent results out of your ceramic coating. Okay? Leave your hand flat, rub evenly, and push fairly hard. You know, you're going to put 6, 8, 10 pounds of pressure on through that towel to get it all to perfection. Okay? Don't be afraid. You're not going to hurt the car by putting a little bit of pressure through there. You definitely want to make sure and give it enough horsepower that you're getting it all off, and it comes up like this, you know, just looking pretty much
and also
perfect.
Understanding that like different regions require, or like different regions of ceramic acts different.
Anytime that you're in an unusual or unique temperature situation where you are having changing weather happening possibly as you're detailing, that leads to a lot of people having high spots. In other words, humidity changes. Suddenly it's nice and warm, all of a sudden, boom, clouds roll in and it starts to rain. Well, that humidity change will change the way ceramic coating dries or cures. So those changes are going to make it harder for you to get good results. Now let's just say we screwed it up, okay? Let's say we went ahead and we screwed it up. Now I have a high spot and I can't get it out. I can see it all over the place. Well, the easiest button is going to be the Brilliant Glaze, okay? You use the Brilliant Glaze, apply it with this applicator, same type of applicator as I just applied the ceramic coating with. That is more likely to get you all the way to perfect. Now, the next possibility, using either the Ceramic Advanced Concentrate, the small bottle, or using the large bottle, which is the spray coating. Either way, okay? Either way, you can do either way. Go back over that same panel. The same panel that has all the little, you know, the marks that didn't work out to your liking. Go over that same panel again and just go ahead and apply it, but apply it with this nice big flat applicator which lays it down nice and even, okay? Go ahead and apply this. You notice how I'm laying down very thin but yet very consistent ceramic like this? It's because this applicator is letting me do it nice and consistent, nice and even. Now, a little bit over here, and boom. So, you go over it again, watch it rainbow. As soon as the rainbow starts to fade, at that point you grab your towel again, and then you can go ahead and start removing it. And again, remember my point on removing that is to give it a light touch first. A very light touch first. So here we go. Today's crazy. It's in here today, different than yesterday. Yesterday we filmed some videos here, and it took forever for things to set up, you know. It was raining, it was wet, and today, a little bit drier, now it's setting up quickly. So lightly with the towel.
This is like the weight of your hand.
Weight of my hand. The weight of my hand, keeping the towel flat on the car. Now listen, I'm gripping the towel. I'm gripping the towel with my thumb because the towel's not going to go slide nicely over the ceramic before I wipe it off. I'm holding that towel in my hand so that it doesn't fall out of my hand as I rub. Then, flipping the towel, hand flat, good amount of pressure.
Long, fast. Long.
Nice big, long, nice big, long swipes are going to make it come off very consistent. If you're doing little areas like this, that's going to be very easy for you to have some high spots, okay? Don't do little areas like that. Just big, long swipes back and forth and get sort of a zone done. Make sure that you have good lighting. Like right now, we've got some good lights on this. I can see very well. If I didn't have good lights, I would be just rubbing till when? Well, until I think I'm done. That's not really good. Much better to have great lights, okay? You're going to need the lighting to be able to see what you've removed and what you haven't. And this is just coming off so nice now. Oh, yeah. But again, flat hand. flat hand. I'm going to go ahead and do one more fold. Always folding the towel. I want to keep my hand flat and firm as I go over that finish till it's nice and even.
I know
So,
something
boom.
people ask a lot too is, after you've used that towel,
Mm-hmm.
is that trash?
I don't, you know, there's definitely different levels of craziness when it comes to that. Sometimes people are like, oh, I would never use a towel like that again on a car. Like our friends at Esoteric, they're just so, crazy detail oriented. And I respect them all the way. I just love what they do there. They're great guys. But they'll take the towels and either throw them away or we'll put an X on them and mark them and say, this is just going to be only for cleaning wheels and tires and stuff. And that's it. No more using on paint. I personally have washed these towels using our microfiber pad and towel revitalizer, and I have gotten excellent results, and I can't say that I've ever had a car have a problem or get scratched using them again. So, you know, do I want to sell you more towels? Yes. Do I think it's crazy for you to throw away a towel after using it on a ceramic coating? Yes. I mean, it's what, a $9 towel?
Maybe wash them and then, you know, you could use them for ceramic coating.
Yeah, use them. You can use them for other things, for sure. If you're worried about your car, let's say you have a black, whatever. You're a Maybach Mercedes with no metallic in it. You know, $500,000 car, something crazy, and you're worried about it. Well, then by all means, as soon as you're done with the towel, take your Sharpie marker and put an X in one of the corners, and then you know that that towel is from now on going to be a towel that you recognize as one that has been used to remove a ceramic coating and may not be as pure as the driven snow as a brand new towel might be for you. So maybe that's your approach. Very rarely, very rarely, would I say I've seen someone hurt their car with a ceramic coating towel.
Because you're not necessarily wiping off ceramic. I mean, barely any ceramic. The ceramic stays on your car. It's it's the oils from the solvent essentially coming out of the thing. So
you're right.
I think a lot of people think you're like putting the ceramic into the towel. It's more the applicator. The applicator is the thing you do need to throw out.
Now this turns into a brick.
Yeah.
This turns into a brick when you're done. You're not going to be reusing this, okay? This is going to be trash. I'm going to use it one side. I'm done using it. I'll set it aside. Next time I go ahead, I'll use the other side, and I'll feel it, absolutely. I'll feel the crunchy crispiness, okay? Because that's solid ceramic in there. But a lot of the nice hard ceramic that's in this applicator, not so much in this towel like you said, but actually it's on the finish. Now that nice firm candy shell that we just put over this is really in, attached itself to the clear coat or the paint. It is no longer, being pulled off by this towel. But this sucker, this is a limited life deal. This is going to be, you're going to throw these away, okay? So that's a great question.
So this will be the last question.
Okay.
And it's for Jose Vargas because I said we're not going to forget about you, and he just said, hey, don't forget about me. But
Señor Vargas, ¿qué pasó? All right, Jose, what's up?
He said, let me get to his question. I think this is a good, you could give a couple things of advice on this. But
Here, come over here. I'll so you don't have to.
What pre-wash routine do you use or recommend? Like diluted APC or mega foam? So something before you get into like fully washing your car. Do you have a pre-wash routine, or do you have advice on that?
Yeah. So I probably have a couple of different versions. One, my summertime pre-wash technique, blast it with water, get as much cut off as possible, and then I like the mega foam. I just love how much suds it has, and you can just spray real quick and throw a little bit of suds on there and wash it, and you know you're going to reduce the friction when you're washing. So that's huge.
Well, the nice thing is the mega foam is so thick it doesn't go away by the time you get ready to hit it with the mitt.
Exactly, yeah. I love it. It holds on. That soap just clings to the car. It's awesome. So our mega foam soap is my favorite of through the foam cannon. Now, in the wintertime, it's a little bit different. You got to spend a little more time with the pressure washer. Now, I spend a ton of time with the pressure washer every time I wash a car, okay? Especially in the wintertime. So something I've driven in the weather, driven in the rain, driven in the snow. I spend a ton of time with the pressure washer, okay? Wheel wells, a lot of time. Try to pressure wash the underside of the vehicle. I try to do that as much as I possibly can, especially if I've driven right after a snow where I know there's chemicals and grit, gravel on there. I want that off. I want that off there as quick as I can, okay? That's the beginning of corrosion. Chemicals, sand, all that stuff that sits up underneath there. You know, sand, if it sits in a little pocket and stays wet, that holds the moisture in that little pocket for way too long, creating the potential for corrosion, you know, for little rust spots to start. So, you know, ideally, you blast that off. Next, once you blasted it off really, really well, I make sure and give it a very thick layer of suds, way thicker. You know, summertime, megafoam, done. Wintertime, foam, I go every inch of the car because I know that I'm going to be pulling off the nasty winter crud. And I want to do that. I want to wash that so carefully without causing damage. So I'll go way heavier on the soap in the winter when I can. Now, if it's so cold that I'm going to the pay and spray, then once again, if you have to use their soap in there, the soap at the pay and spray is not usually as premium as you want it. However, there also is an IK sprayer that shoots foam. I think we sell those, right, Joe?
Yeah,
There's
IK
an
Foam Pro 2.
IK Foam Pro 2. You bring your own foam if you're going to the pay and spray, and then rinse it off real good, use the IK Foam Pro, and that's going to get you the ability to go ahead and remove and get that surface really lubed up so that when you come back from the wash pad, you're not going to be digging that dirt into it. And go back to the bucket over and over again. Go back to the bucket way more than normal, because if you do one panel after driving in the rain or the snow, you're going to look at your wash pad and see all the crud on it. Go back to the bucket, rub it in the grit guard, flip it, rub it in the grip guard, wring it out, sudsy a little bit, go back at it. So just keep going back so that you don't induce the potential of that abrasion, of that scratching.
Is there any, you know, redundancy or you know, should people refoam it, then wash it? You know, is it, I know some people think that that's better, but to me it seems redundant because
To me it
in
seems,
initial wash, you should get most of the sediment or
Yeah.
moisture off, right?
yeah, your initial wash is, to me, I mean, unless you're just really have pure mud on your car, you've been mudding your truck, you know, like I was 16, I got stuck up to the axle in mud. It took me, you know, a couple days to get all the mud off that thing, pressure washing it, you know, it took forever. But unless shy of that, yeah, that's extra. Remember, the soap is going to be safety for your car. Rinsing the car off and having just water sitting on there, now you're at the mercy of whatever the minerals are in your water, which could easily cause damage. So you want to be careful about putting water on there. I like soap. I'll leave the soap on there. I'll go to lunch. I always used to laugh. I'd go do a 3 Bloody Mary lunch. Now, I haven't done a 3 Bloody Mary lunch since 2014 when I quit drinking, but I got to tell you, you could if you wanted to. It is possible. It is possible. You can do it if you like the idea. I see I left a little bit of detail spray right there. All right. Any other questions, Joe, that we should, anybody else we should say hey to? All right.
Jose says muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. That's an hour and 20 minutes of your time we zapped today. If you watch this whole thing, I want to say thank you and get a life.
I'll just say, yeah.
Watching here, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, share this video with people. If you subscribe, we're going to be doing the live video on YouTube from here on out. We're not doing it on Facebook, and we will post it to Facebook, but here on YouTube from here on out, and we're just having fun. We're just educating. So we'll see you guys here on YouTube next week. I'm not sure what the topic is yet, but if you have suggestions, put them in the comments here. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Joe.